Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at sketching parabolas, and the equation is given in square constant form: y equal to a into x plus p all squared plus q. Our first example, y is equal to 2 into x plus 1 all squared minus 2. So we're ready to draw our graph. Firstly, we need to examine the value of a. And if a is positive, if it's greater than 0, we're going to have a happy parabola, a happy face. If a is negative, we're going to have a sad parabola, a sad face. Remember, when we're positive, we're happy. When we're negative, we're sad. So looking at our example here, the value of a is 2, which is positive. So we're going to have a happy parabola. Next thing, we're looking at the turning point. Your turning point is change your sign, negative p, and we're going to take q as it is. Looking at our example, change your sign, x plus 1, we're going to take negative 1, and we'll take negative 2 as it is to be our q value. So turning point in this case, minus 1, minus 2. Let's plot this point. Minus 1, minus 2 on our axis. We're going to move on. The next thing we're going to do is multiply the equation to find the intercepts. Taking our equation, y equal to 2 into x plus 1 all squared minus 2. First thing, we're going to square the binomial. So square the first term, you get x squared. First times second times 2 gives you 2x. Square the last term, you get plus 1. We're now going to multiply the 2 into the bracket, which gives us 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. And we have a negative 2 outside. So we have 2x squared plus 4x, and 2 times 1 is 2, minus the 2 gives you 0. To find our y-intercept, we let x to be 0. So if we let x to be 0 and we substitute 0 in here, we'll get the y-intercept to be 0, or the constant here is 0. The x-intercept, we're going to let y equal to 0. Before we move on, the y-intercept is 0, and that is a point at the origin. So to find the x-intercept, we're going to let y to be equal to 0. We're going to take 2x squared plus 4x is equal to 0. You notice 2 is common, so we can divide by 2. We end up with x squared plus 2x is equal to 0. Next, we're going to factorize, pulling out x as a common factor. X into x plus 2. We have two solutions. The first one, x is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0. And if x plus 2 is equal to 0, taking 2 on the other side gives us x to be negative 2. So we have 0 and minus 2. We're going to plot those points, 0 and minus 2. You'll notice it's a happy face. We can now draw our parabola. And here we have our parabola. Moving on to the next example, y is equal to minus 2 into x minus 3 all squared plus 8. Point 1, looking at a, is it negative or positive? In this case, a is negative. We're going to get a sad face, a sad parabola. Step 2, finding our turning point. Change your sign of the p and take your q as it is. Change of our sign on minus 3 will give us a plus 3, and we will take 8 to be our q value. So let's plot this point, 3, 8. Now, if you want to know if the graph has x-intercepts, we can look at the turning point and draw the graph. And you notice if I draw my parabola, a sad face, it will cut the x-axis and the y-axis. So we will have x and y-intercepts. So we're going to multiply the equation to find the intercepts. We will take x minus 3 and square that. Square the first term, x squared. First times the second times 2 minus 6x. Square the last term, we have a plus 9. We'll then take the minus 2 and multiply it into the bracket. And that gives us minus 2x squared minus 2 times minus 6x plus 12x minus 2 times 9 is minus 18. And we have our plus 8. Minus 18 plus 8 gives us a minus 10. So you'll notice that your y-intercept is minus. So our y-intercept can be found quite easily. We can let x to be 0 or take it as the constant negative 10. To find the x-intercepts, that's a little more challenging. We got to let y to be equal to 0. And if we do that, you'll notice that we have 2 that is common. The first term is negative. So I'm going to divide right through by negative 2. And that gives me x squared. Dividing that by negative 2. 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. And minus 10 divided by negative 2 is 5. We can now factorize this. We'll end up with x minus 5 into x minus 1. From here we get two values for x. X is 5 or x is 1. We're going to plot 5 and 1. There's our 1 and there's our 5. So we're going to join these points to get a sad face. And here we have it, our parabola passing through minus 10, 1, 3, 5. You will also notice that it is a sad face, confirming the negative a value. Going on to our next example, we have y equal to 2 into x plus 1 all squared plus 3. So we're going to have a happy face because a is positive. Looking at our turning point, negative 1, change your sign, and 3. So if we plot negative 1, 3, here's our dot, and it is a happy face. So if we draw this to get a happy face at the turning point, you will notice that this graph does not cut the x-axis. In other words, it does not have x-intercepts. So firstly, we're going to go and find the x and y-intercepts and confirm what I showed you about the x-intercepts. So multiplying the equation out, you're going to get x plus 1 all squared, x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 3. Multiplying the 2 into the bracket, 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 plus 3. Simplifying that, 2 plus 3 is 5. So to find our x-intercepts and our y-intercept, we know the y-intercept is 5, that's our constant. And we can plot 5. The x-intercepts, remember I said that we don't have x-intercepts. But just to confirm that algebraically, we can equate that to 0. We can use the formula minus b, the value of b is 4, plus minus the square root of b squared, b is 4 squared, minus 4ac, which is 2 for your value of a, and c is 5, all over 2a, which is 2 into the value of a is 2. And if you simplify the square root, what's in the square root? You get a negative 24. So I'm using the quadratic formula, minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, we can conclude, because we cannot find the square root of a negative number, there are no x-intercepts. So, we need one more point to draw this parabola. So if we look at the turning point, we can use a point on the left of the turning point, minus 2. So if we go and substitute minus 2 into the equation, and you can use your calculator to do this, minus 2, if you substitute that into our equation, your x value being negative 2, you will actually get 5. So we have the point minus 2, 5. Also, we know, because this is a parabola, this point will be symmetrical based on the axis of symmetry, which we'll go into a little later. For now, use your calculator, substitute minus 2 in the equation, and you will get a y value of 5. And that will allow us to draw our graph. Thank you.